Can't get any words. Podcast on blast, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse Podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse Podcast, UFC 315 breakdown. How are we all today? Welcome to this little, I don't even know if we call them bonus episodes anymore. I don't know what the fuck they are, but yeah, we're going to chat about the fights this Sunday. Look, is it the biggest UFC card in the world? No, it's definitely not. But are the top three fights that you sort of want to see? The main event, fucking oath. Another Aussie boy, JDM, getting in there for a title. And, hey, I don't want to blow my load too early on this episode, but I think if you're an Australian watching this and you're not going for JDM, mate, hit the fucking road, Jack. Get it? Because his name's Jack Della Maddalena. Anyway, that was lame, and let's carry on. We're going to kick the episode off just with some juicy news stories that have broken since the last time I was in here talking UFC. Just to quench our thirst, I suppose you'd say, and get us into the mindset of the UFC. So the big one that has been floating around for fucking ages now, and to be honest, I don't even know why I've got this as a talking point, because nothing is officially locked in yet. As many times as we are getting our little dicks teased every single week when we log on to social media, and Jon Jones is going, oh, big news coming soon, or Tom Aspinall's on a fucking podcast going, oh, we're pretty close to signing it, or Dana's like, oh, I've got a big fight announcement coming up soon. It sounds like, and again, nothing is signed, nothing's locked in, but from what we're getting from all three of them, it would seem that this fight is fucking seconds away from being announced, okay? Now, I have a little bit of a theory, and trust me, this isn't groundbreaking. I'm not coming up with this idea. I've heard a lot of bigger names in the MMA media circuit throw this idea around, and it 100% makes sense, and it's pretty much what is going to happen. So there's some big fights flying around that everyone wants to see. Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall, Topuria versus Makhachev. What else is there? We need to see Volk back in the cage. Who's he going to verse next? Where's it going to be? What are some other big champions at the moment? You know, just all these big fucking fights we want to see. And for whatever reason, they're just not coming. We just keep getting teased. Like, I'm pretty sure this is UFC 315. I'm pretty sure at the time of this recording, UFC 317 might not have a main event yet, unless it's broken in the last 24 hours and I've fucking missed it. But, yeah, I feel like a big part to do with that is because the UFC's contract ran out with fucking, who were they with? Oh my God, how am I blanking on that right now? Anyway, the UFC is now looking for a new place to host all their fights and shit like that. Now, it is heavily rumored to be Netflix, which would be absolutely insane. And the reason that's the front runner is because the WWE and the UFC are now the same company under the TKO umbrella. And the WWE has recently signed with Netflix, and it's going fucking gangbusters for them. It's never been bigger. So now, rumors are UFC is going to be on Netflix, and it'd be absolutely insane to see what was being called like human cockfighting only a matter of, 15 years ago? 20 years ago, maybe? To now be on the biggest streaming platform in the world, potentially. I don't know. But that would be a huge bargaining chip for Dana White and the rest of fucking the UFC to be like, hey, if you put us on Netflix, here are 3 huge main events we can do on the first 3 cards on Netflix. It would be absolutely insane. Imagine that. Dana White comes out after UFC 315 this week. He goes, all right, breaking news. The UFC is now sold hosting rights to Netflix, and the first card on Netflix in a couple of months is going to be Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Holy fuck. The world would explode. My brain would be fried. I would not be able to breathe. Nikita would go, shut the fuck up. Stop creaming your pants over these huge jacked men in their underwear wrestling each other, and pull yourself together for the sake of your children. Jesus Christ. But let's all cross our fingers. Let's hope that fight is seconds away from being announced. But a fight that did get announced probably about a week ago now, and when it first got announced, wasn't overly stoked, okay? I wasn't overly stoked. But then once it had settled and I started thinking about it, I'm so fucking keen for this. So Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway 3 is set for UFC 318 for the BMF belt, the baddest motherfucker belt. These two, Max Holloway's first fight in the UFC was with Dustin Poirier. So it's only right. This is DP's last fight. He's basically said that. He's like, I'm done. I need to get the fuck out of here. And who better than against... It's literally two crowd favourites up against each other for one of their last fights. Max Holloway he's getting there as well, you know? Like, I would not be surprised if they both bang the fuck out of each other in the centre of that ring and then both just put their gloves down in the octagon. What an incredible scene that would be. Just two absolute warriors of the sport. Genuinely two of the best blokes as well to step in the cage. The amount of shit that they both do for like charities and not like that they've done for the sport. It would be insane. It would be the biggest night of MMA if they were both to just put on an absolute clinic and then both retire on the night. Again, I'd be leaping off my couch. Nikita would be going, shut the fuck up, you idiot. You need to get a new hobby. Why don't you go and write some new jokes, you fuckhead? But anyway, we won't go on about that. I am keen as fuck for that fight. Now, this one. This is half announced, okay? And again, nothing official, but Ilia Topuria vacated his belt. Since then, Volk has won the belt back, and Topuria wants to go up and face Makhachev, okay? This is another big fight. We're like, why is it not getting announced? Dana doesn't really want it to happen, but Topuria's like, well, I'm not fighting again unless it's for the belt, okay? And the dude's a bit of a weapon. He's basically, look, he's probably one of the best martial artists we've seen. I don't know. People are going to fucking hate me for this, but keep your cars straight when I say this, okay? There probably hasn't been a more impressive or a more captivating fighter than the man on my shirt right now, Conor McGregor. There's just something about Ilia Topuria who he's calling his shots. He's saying exactly what he wants. He's not caving for anyone. He's also like, I want to go up and fight people heavier than me. I just want to fight the best fights. I want to win as many belts as I can. He's a fucking fighter. He doesn't give a fuck who it's against or where it is. He just wants to get it done. Now, I heard anyone that listens to the Joe Rogan Experience, very, very so often, Joe will let something slip on the podcast and you're like, oh my God. Now, he did preface this with saying, it's just a rumor I've heard. I haven't heard this from Dana or anyone in the UFC. Now, obviously, the big thing is Ilia's going to face Makhachev, okay? Unreal fight. That would be insane, even though Makhachev is a huge person. But still, it would be one of the most technical and impressive fights in history, I think, if those two were to face each other. But it could be a case of when Izzy went up and he fought Jan Blachowicz back in the day, and Jan was just too big for him, basically just laid on him the whole fight. It could be a similar case to that. I hope it isn't, but it could be. Anyway, so the rumor that Joe let slip this morning is potentially Ilia, he wants to fight in International Fight Week, right? Which is June, I think. June or July. Again, this would be another huge fight for Dana to break for the Netflix deal. If Ilia flies to the main event this week and the winner of that, whether it's Belal or JDM, Ilia jumps in the cage and calls them out and he goes for that title instead of Makhachev's title. That way he's still a two-division champion because he said he's not fighting again unless it's for a championship. And everyone has just assumed it's going to be Makhachev's championship. Well, not necessarily assume that because Ilia's said that, but there's other titles this bloke can go and get. And why not go and face Belal or JDM? The dude's got skills. And then when Joe said this, now this Joe didn't say this. This just popped into my head as soon as I heard it. Could you imagine? Perfect world, okay? Close your eyes. Bear with me. JDM, he wins the title this Sunday. It's amazing. Another Aussie has got the belt strapped around his waist. Let's fucking go. Bring that bad boy home. Now, JDM is from Perth. The UFC just signed a giant contract with Perth to host the next, 3 or 4 events or something over there. JDM's first title defense is against Ilia Topuria in his home city of Perth. Holy fuck. Westy, pack your bags because I'm selling my firstborn son to fly to Perth and watch the man JDM defend his belt against Ilia Topuria. Dude, just thinking about that. Literal goosebumps right now. Anyone watching on fucking YouTube. We're not on the UFC channel just yet. Dana, if you're watching this, bro, send me a DM. I'm keen to collaborate. Oh, boy can dream, right? But holy fuck, could you actually imagine that? Oh, this is why I don't hate doing these UFC things, but my brain just gets tangled in these little rivers of possibility and underdogs getting up and shit. I love it. This is what I watch this shit for. I got another couple of stories. Look, these are just some pretty tragic stories in the UFC. I'm not going to harp on too much about them, but Francis Ngannou, not in the UFC anymore, but absolute beast. That was the fight we all wanted to see. Jon Jones versus Francis. We never got to see it. Francis went to the PFL and that was that. Had a couple of boxing fights and he sort of fizzled away. He's made his money and good for him at the end of the day. I've said it on here before. Good on him for backing himself, making the money and just doing whatever he wants. Now, unfortunately, he found himself in a bit of a car accident in the last week and a 17-year-old girl died. And at the point of this recording, I don't believe anyone's been charged or anything like that. I think it's literally just been put down as an accident. I don't even, that's the other news articles I've read. It doesn't even state whether Francis was the driver or if he was just a passenger. So there's still more to come out about that, but just some pretty tragic circumstances around another absolute top bloke in the UFC. If you pause this podcast, if you haven't listened to Francis Ngannou on Joe Rogan, the first time he was on there, go check that out. Absolute unreal story of just trying to leave Africa and literally countless times getting halfway across the ocean or halfway across the desert and just being dragged back again. From going from that, shoveling sand in a sand mine when you're 10 years old to the UFC heavyweight champion, there's literally no better story. That's movie type shit. The other one, the only reason I'm going to talk about this is because every time he's on a fight card, for whatever reason, I pick him and I'm like, oh, he looks like the third fucking island boy. But Cedric Dumas, he fought only on the last main UFC card, I'm pretty sure. He has got arrested. He's been arrested over the weekend. He's still in custody, facing multiple charges. What did he have? A felony home invasion robbery, possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, drug possession, and he's currently still in custody with bond set at $550,000. Now, I genuinely do not know why people do this, okay? If you're signed in the UFC, why are you fucking around doing shit like this? We can dip into the whole fighter pay, things like that, but surely if you are in the UFC, you can go to your local fucking bakery. He's not in my circumstance where I'm on here literally begging for sponsors going, please, I will show my dick on this camera just for fucking a sponsor from, I don't know, I'm looking around. No one. I don't even know. My local fish and chip shop. Let's do that. Anyway, it's crazy to me that someone would fuck their life up that bad. Anyway, let's stop banging on about it. The last one, trailers come out for The Smashing Machine, which is I don't know if it's a documentary or no, it's not a documentary. It's like a movie based on the life of Mark Kerr, who's a old school UFC fighter, right? And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is playing him. This has got complete mixed reactions from everyone. Based off the trailer and everything I've seen, I'm pretty fucking keen to see it, okay? Now, I feel like it's going to be one of those movies where when I do watch it, it's going to be shit. It's going to be absolutely dog shit. But I don't know. I think I think it's got legs based on what I've seen. But yeah, let me know if you guys think that's going to be absolutely dog shit or whether you reckon The Rock's going to pull off another just fucking sick movie. But anyway, let's move on to what we're all here for. The UFC 315 breakdown. Let me scroll down. My mouse is on the other screen, you fucking idiot. That's why you can't see it. I need to scroll back down. Okay. Now, the early prelims, I've been a bit of a fucking dum-dum here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to scroll down here because I wrote them backwards, but only for the early prelims. I'm actually going to take a little sip first. I feel my voice getting quite hoarse. It's crazy when you try and jam 2 podcasts and 6 gigs into 1 week, what that does to the human voice. Anyway, first fight of the night. Brad Katona, versus Bekzat Almakhan. Now, new listeners to the UFC breakdowns, yes, I butcher names, and yes, that's why you keep coming back. For the butchering of names and the absolute underdogs that I pick and come up every now and then, okay? That's what you keep coming back for. Anyway, Katona is an well, he's not really he's an Ultimate Fighter winner, and he's on a 3-fight win streak, okay? His opponent, he's got a 12-1 record, which is pretty impressive, and he's from Kazakhstan, okay? The ultimate grappling location. So when I first saw it, I'm like, I want to go how do I say his name? Almakhan. I was pretty keen to go him, but I don't know, just something about, I've never seen this other dude fight from memory, okay? But I've seen Katona fight. So I've just got to go, he's from Canada, the fight card's in Canada, so I'm going to go him at $1.85 for no real reason other than I've seen him fight before. A 3-fight win streak's pretty impressive, even though the other guy's 12-1. But hey, let's see if the boy can pull it off in his fucking home country. I like watching that shit, you know, when a fighter gets a win in their own country. It's happy scenes. The crowd goes wild. Next, we got featherweight division. We got Gavin Tucker versus Jon Jones. Pretty sure I pronounced that correctly, so fuck you guys. So Tucker's coming back. He's actually had a couple of years off from fighting, and this is his first fight back. But this Korean dude looks like a fucking beast, okay? If you look at his picture, he looks like he's chiseled out of marble. He is ripped to the gills. It's pretty insane to look at. I'm actually getting half hard right now just looking at this bloke. Anyway, this dude, this is his first fight in the UFC, okay? Making his UFC debut, and his record is 9-1. Based on his chiseled body and his record, I'm going to go Lee at $1.95. Not crazy odds. It's a bit of a pick'em fight. But yeah, Lee is a slight underdog there. And you just got to have a dabble, you know? You got to have a little dabble on these ones. Let me scroll up here so I can see the pictures of these bad boys. All right. Then we go middleweight division. This is the last fight on the early prelims. We've got Marc-Andre Barriault versus Bruno Silva. Now, I've seen Silva fight before. This other dude, he looks familiar, but I don't recall any of his fights, okay? He is from Canada as well, though. Now, in the opposite of what I just said about usually trying to back people in their home countries or hometowns or whatever, Silva, he's a beast. I like him in this one. Mainly due to the fact he has 23 wins, okay? 23 wins. Out of 23 of those, 20 are by knockout. Holy fuck, this dude can bang. Based on this dude's banging ability, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, banging ability with a hard B. I'm going to go Silva at $2.25. Holy fuck, did your guys' mind just blow like me? An underdog with 20 knockout victories? Sign me up, champ. Sportsbet, get on the phone. We need to fucking work out a collaboration or something. Not even Sportsbet. Anyone. Neds. Holler at your boy. Let's get out of the early prelims. Let's move on to the regular prelims. I'm going to take another little sip here. Oh, yeah. First one is in the light heavyweight division. Need to scroll up. Again, I need a scrolling person in the studio. Who we got? Light heavyweight division. I was surprised that this was in the light heavyweight division, to be honest. They don't appear like big boys, but anyway. We've got Navajo Sterling versus Ivan Erslan, okay? Now, I got to go. Look, let's give a bit of background first. Sterling is from New Zealand, okay? He's also undefeated 8-0. I think we already know where my pick's going to be, okay? You got to stick with your fellow Anzac brothers, you know? And he's also undefeated. But the other dude is a weapon as well. Erslan, he's got 11 wins and 9 of those are by knockout. But I just can't. Like, it is going to be a hard night in the office for Sterling. But I just can't in my right mind bet against him. So I've got to go my New Zealand brother, Sterling, at $1.70, okay? Lock that one in. Easy money, guys. Send me thank you letters in the DMs. Oh, my Lord. Then, another light heavyweight. Is that right? Oh, yeah, yep. Yeah, these boys are big boys. See, that's what I mean. You look at those last two fighters compared to these two big boys, and you're just like, holy fuck. So, Modestus Bukauskas versus Ian Kutaliba. Now, Ion Kutaliba, or however you say his name, he's the one that always weighs in dressed as the Hulk. And every time he weighs in just with green body paint, I'm like, how do you get all that off before your fight, like the next day? But that's for him to work out and me to never know, I suppose, unless things really go bad for me and I see a job on Seek of Kutaliba's body scrubber to get his green paint off, which, hey, I'd probably do. I'd probably do that just to be in the same building as Dana White on fight day and just be like, hey, Mr. Dana, I'm the one that scrubs the green off Ian's balls. It's a pleasure to meet you. I actually run this really cool podcast out of my garage. If you'd like to maybe donate a couple of bottles of Howlerhead and let me talk about the UFC once a month, that'd be greatly appreciated, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for spitting on my face. I appreciate that, Dana. Good luck with the Netflix deal. Anyway, let's get on to this fight. Again, sorry for new listeners. That's where my brain goes to sometimes. Tune into our Tuesday episodes to get more wacky tangents. Where were we? So, Bukauskas is on a 2-fight win streak. And Kutaliba, when I first started seeing him, I liked him. He was a bit of a beast, but he's on a bit of a skid at the moment. Like, win one, lose one, win one, lose a couple, win a couple. So he's hard to pick. So because of that, I can't comfortably tip him, okay? So I'm going to go Bukauskas at $2, which, again, pretty good value, considering his record and shit like that. So let's lock that one in. Now we go to our first women's fight of the card. We've got ex-champion Jessica Andrade versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. Sorry for fucking that up. But another Canadian fighter. So she has won her last 2 fights, and Andrade is, again, much like I just said about Ian, she's on a bit of a skid at the moment. When she was like, well, yeah, she did win the championship eventually. Like, when she was on that climb, she seemed like a weapon. Like, she seemed like a little tank, and I don't know. Then she lost the title, and she just didn't seem the same. So based on that, I've got to go her opponent. I'm just going to say Jasmine because I'm going to fuck up her last name again. Home city, and she's also an underdog, and she's won her last 2 fights. We've got to go her. Get this, ladies and gentlemen. Ready to hear this unreal value? $2.75 for her to win. Get the fuck on that right now. Everyone, pause the podcast. Pull your phone out. Throw some money on her responsibly. Sorry, I was getting worked up then. I felt like I had to tone it down and tell you guys to gamble responsibly. Last fight on the prelims, we've got Mike Malott, or I think it might be Maylott, actually, versus Charles Radke. Now, I don't know. Again, I've seen this Mike guy recently. I didn't really like him at the start. He's just a bit of a clean-skinned pretty boy. But the last fight I tipped against him, and I think I even put money against him, and he actually had a pretty impressive performance. What note have I got here for him? Oh, that's right. He's undefeated in the UFC, all by finish, which pretty fucking crazy, right? For a kid that looks like that. Now, he's up against Charles Radke, who I would normally go with, just based on looks, based on everything. But this is his first fight in the UFC. He's making his debut, and his record is 7-3, okay? soon as I saw both those facts, I was like, oh, okay. They're feeding old Mikey boy a bit of a can fight in his hometown, build his stock a little bit higher, which it's fair enough. It'll be a crazy upset if old Charles there gets the win, but I got to go Mike Maylott at $1.60 to round out the prelims, guys. Let's go on to the main card. Let's fucking go. We have Benoit Saint Denis versus Kyle Prepolek. Now, Saint Denis was originally meant to fight Joel Alvarez, but he pulled out about a week or two ago. Pretty sure he's got like a wrist injury or something like that. So, on late notice, we've got Prepolek stepping in. And look, I don't know. I'm of two minds with late step-ins. It's always good to see them get the win. He is, again, Canadian. There's a lot of Canadian... Obviously, it's in fucking Canada, but they've stacked this card with Canadians, okay? And it would be good to see him get the win, but Saint fucking... what's his fucking name? Saint Denis. I almost said Saint Denis for some reason, and then my mouth wouldn't let it out because I'm like, that sounds wrong, dickhead. You're an idiot. Anyway, Saint Denis seemed unstoppable until Dustin Poirier seamlessly stopped him. That insane fight again. Everyone wrote DP off, and he just got in there and knocked this fucking... I'm pretty sure he's like a Marine or something, and he's in like a French Marine or something like that. So I've got to go Saint Denis, sorry. I keep trying to fucking say it. At $1.57. So not crazy odds. And look, I think that'll be a pretty easy night for Saint Denis. On to the next women's fight, okay? We have another former champion in Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. Now, Grasso never really did much for me, okay? Everyone loved her her come up. She was the first Mexican female champion. Her and Moreno were champions at the same time, so it was cool to have like a dude Mexican champion and a female Mexican champion. Everything was perfect. It was a storybook. But I don't know why. I could just never get into her. Now, Silva is on a four-fight UFC win streak. Pretty impressive for the women's division. And that's not being sexist or anything like that. It can just be very up and down sometimes. Very rarely do we see a Ronda or a fucking Amanda, a Cyborg, people like that, okay? So when you see a young girl like this get a 4-win streak in the UFC, I'm impressed. So although she's going up against a former champion in Grasso, I'm going to go Natalia Silva in this fight. Hopefully she can get the win. All right, let's get on to the three big ones that I am so fucking keen for. Let me scroll up here. Bantamweight division. We have former featherweight GOAT, let's say that. Former featherweight champion, seen by some as the greatest featherweight fighter of all time. I don't know if he still holds it for the most title defenses. Definitely of the featherweight division, I think he does. Anyway, Jose Aldo, or Jose Aldo, however you want to fucking pronounce it, everyone pronounces it differently, is going up against Ayman Zahabi. Now, I've fucked up his first name there, but I know his last name's Zahabi because I hear about him all the time on podcasts. Now, Zahabi is fighting out of Canada again. I believe this is actually like his hometown. So, home country, home city, everything is stacking up for him. And he's on a 3-fight win streak. Now, if I wasn't such a dick rider of the old vets that got me into the UFC, I would probably be going Zahabi, okay? I put a poll up for the Can't Get Any Worse multi, like betting multi, which we'll touch on after all these. These two were the closest fight out of all the ones I put up, okay? Literally fucking single digits in the percentage between the two of them. I am going to pick Jose Aldo purely based on his fucking history. Yes, let's call him an old man now. I think if he's not 40 yet, he's fucking touching it, which in fight age, pretty fucking old. He also retired, and now he's come back out of retirement just for this fight. and that's got me a little bit worried. Does he have a little bit of the Tony Ferguson factor about him? I don't know. I'm worried, but I do think that Jose Aldo can fucking get it done at $1.43. So my fingers are crossed. Then we go to the women's flyweight title bout. The first title bout of the card. Let me take a sip before we get in this. Let's give a rundown of the fight first, and then we'll get on to the odds. So we've got Valentina Shevchenko, who's the champion, up against Manon Firiot, I think you say her name. Could be wrong again. Could have butchered that. Now, Shevchenko is defending her title for the 8th time, which is, again, pretty impressive for the women's division, okay? Again, not being sexist. Remember a time when you didn't have to fucking follow up everything you say with, like, trying to justify yourself? An 8-fight wins, an 8 title defense streak, or 8 fucking, God, I got myself all worked up, all flustered and shit. Defending your title 8 times, no matter man, woman, division, impressive shit, okay? So, not only that, Fiat is undefeated in the UFC, which, pretty crazy, right? Pretty fucking crazy. And if I hadn't been such a Shevchenko fan for the longest time, part of me would want to go with, I'm just going to say her first name, Manon, right? Manon, I think. Shevchenko's also got a fucking sick fight kit for this one. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. It's like gold and dragons and shit on it. I love it when the UFC is giving these fighters these custom fight kits. It's fucking sick, and that just suits her so well. Now, this is the crazy part, okay? While I was leaning towards Manon, because I assumed she was going to be the underdog, I'm like, oh, could be worth a dabble, okay? Sportsbet has Manon as the favorite. What the fuck? You are putting Valentina Shevchenko, one of the women GOATs, as the underdog? The current champion, Valentina Shevchenko. Holy shit. Sportsbet, you have this one backwards. If you're listening to this episode right now, go and get on the odds before the weekend, because 100% they will switch around again. They have Valentina Shevchenko at $2.19, which is, it's nuts. I don't know if we've seen odds for her that high in the longest time. I could be wrong, but jump the fuck on that right now. So I'm going Shevchenko to retain her belt. Now the main event, the one that literally the $70 is worth, just this one fight. Oh God, I can't even think about how excited I'm going to be when JDM makes his walk. But we've got the current champion, Belal Muhammad, versus Jack Della Maddalena. Now, Belal Muhammad, look, again, I'm not alone in saying this. He's seen as one of the most boring fighters in the UFC. I was so worried that he was going to win the title. We all knew he was going to win the title purely based on his fight technique and shit like that, okay? And he got there. He's on a 10-fight win streak, and this is his first title defense since beating Leon Edwards. Now, do I want every single bone in my body for JDM to win? Fucking oath. Now, let's go through some amazing stats for the Australian fighter JDM out of Perth. He is on a 16-fight win streak. That is fucking insane. Go to YouTube right now and type in JDM knockout highlights. Oh, God, it's a thing of beauty. This is 110% our next Australian champion. Can you imagine? We've got Volkanovski. We've got JDM. I don't know. Let's say fucking Tai Tuivasa. Let's say Tai Tuivasa fucking laces his shoes back up, gets his shit together, and then he fucking goes and wins the heavyweight title. How crazy would that be? But yeah, there's actually some lighter guys that could go for flyweight and shit like that. Anyway, we're losing track of where we're at. My brain is fried. Anyway, there's nothing else I can even say about this fight to sell it to you. You guys, if you're listening to this, you've already sold on this fight and know how incredible it's going to be. JDM knocks fucking Belal Muhammad out. If it's exactly how this fight is going to go. And I'm not breaking any news. If Belal gets him down, he's just going to fucking lay on him the entire fight, outpoint him on the ground, get him in some awkward positions, potential submission threats, but not quite submit him. Just enough to get the decision win. But if JDM can keep this on the feet, just fucking swing at Belal's head and get the knockout, holy shit. Incredible scenes. I can already envision it. Now, just to make this juicier and more exciting for everyone, JDM is obviously the underdog up against the champion. He is paying $2.58 on Sportsbet. Insane. Insane odds. God, I fucking hope he can do it. I hope all you guys are fucking doing spirit fingers right now into the camera with me. Anyway, let's get on to, I don't even know if I want to call this my guaranteed UFC tips anymore or the Can't Get Any Worse multi for UFC 315 breakdown. Voted on you guys, the listeners, via Instagram. So if you're not following on Instagram, go check that shit out right now to get your votes in for the next UFC card. Our multi for this card will be Jack Della Maddalena at $2.58, Shevchenko at $2.19, and Aldo at $1.43, giving us a multi at $8.82, which is juicy fucking odds for something that I can honestly see coming through. Now, you guys know me as the betting deviant that I am. That's not juicy enough for old Jimbo over here. So what's he going to go and do? He's like, oh my God, for the first time in history, everyone's agreed with my tips. What can I do to make this juicier for me? I know. Let's go the fighters and method of victory, okay? So I'm going to leave the Can't Get Any Worse multi alone. I'm going to put that on as its own bet. But off to the side here, I'm going to put a juicy $5 or so on this multi, okay? Jack Della Maddalena by KO at $4.10, Shevchenko by decision at $3.15, and Aldo by decision at $1.88, giving me a multi of $27.50. Oh my God. Come in, payday. I didn't realize payday was on Sundays, I didn't realize Sunday... Sorry. I fucked that up. I didn't realize payday was on Sunday these days, guys, but fuck me. My bank account is going to be looking juicy after UFC 315 on Sunday. I'm keen as fuck for this card. That brings us to the end of the UFC 315 breakdown. I appreciate you guys watching. If you do want to come and watch me do a bit of comedy this week, I do have a couple of gigs before next Tuesday's episode. The Thursday the 8th, so the day this comes out, I'll be at Last Night on Earth at Southport. Friday the 9th, I'll be at Matic Brewing at Ashmore, and then on the way back, I'll be at, I think it's like Penezki Distillery or something at Coomera. Then Saturday the 10th, I'll be at Home of the Arts at Southport. Sunday the 11th, I'll be at the Star Casino on the Gold Coast. And that's all the gigs for the week. If you want to get involved with the next UFC breakdown or just our regular show weekly, send me a submission on DM via Instagram at Can't Get Any Worse Podcast or at CantGetAnyWorsePod@gmail.com. Spread this shit around. If you've enjoyed the episode, go check out our Tuesday episodes as well. Because, the last couple of UFC breakdowns have actually got higher numbers than my weekly ones. So, I don't know. If you guys are just enjoying the fight ones, then keep coming back. But if you like my little tangents and shit like that, give the Tuesday episodes a listen. And jump on board, guys. But spread the podcast around. Appreciate you guys listening. Enjoy the fights on Sunday, and I will see you later.
Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the